So a few months back, or not a few months back, probably over a year ago now, but a while back, sometime before present day, I made a video talking about my qualms with the It Gets Better campaign and kind of discussing how I felt that there was a need for a more, for lack of a better term, interactive and personal campaign geared towards youth and adults, because this was even before the individuals that were the catalyst for Amos and Rocco's project took their lives. I just knew that something needed to be done, and so I'm really glad that something's being done, and I kind of am starting this babbly intro to get into, I guess, my video for the Talk About It project. I am a big fan of talking. Anyone who knows me knows I can't shut the hell up. I talk too much. I talk far too much. I am a really communicative person. For me, as someone who comes from a really interesting background and has a really intense story about my struggles and my trials and tribulations just throughout my entire life, talking for me has always been a way to vocalize and share those experiences and give them a human face so they don't seem so out of the ordinary and so detached. It's really easy to just hear a figure or to just see a few of your friends mourning rather than to see the entire world mourning when great artists or great activists or great minds or just even great people are taken from us because they get into such dark places that they take their own lives. I would be remiss and a total liar if I said that this wasn't something that I had ever thought about as a queer youth or as a person of color, as a person living with chronic pain. I have definitely thought about all of these things, but I feel like for me personally, the biggest thing that keeps my wheels turning despite whatever's going on in my interpersonal life is the support system and art and the people I choose to surround myself with, the history I choose to share, and the history I choose to create with my friends, or with the sharing or the admiration of my peers' work. I feel like, if anything, the community right now needs to be working together. There's been a lot of infighting in the community about various things, about various priorities, about where the T stands in the LGBT community, if we belong there, if we don't belong there. There's been a lot of kind of infighting that is not necessarily unnecessary, because some of the fights that are being had now are completely necessary, but a majority of it is highly influenced by the same people or the same government that is telling us we don't belong here, or that we need to feel a certain way about our bodies if we want to be acknowledged as invalid, or if we want to be acknowledged as valid, we have to feel some sort of way, which totally takes away from the individual experience, which I think is the greatest part about this campaign, is it is coming back to the root of an individual's experience and sharing those things and finding strength within ourselves to talk about these things, whether they're easy or not. I am someone who suffers from clinically diagnosed depression, and that is something I kept secret for a very long time, because a lot of people think that things just go away when transitions start, or that life just gets easier, that somehow, like, you make the jump from whatever gender you were assigned at birth to whatever your preferred gender is, and that it's just seamless and it's easy, or that you can follow just a quick checklist of steps and all those things are covered. Everything is just great. But for anyone living with any additional things beyond whatever personal dysphoria or even social dysphoria they might have, the people who have that, there's not a lot of us talking about it, and there needs to be a lot more of us talking about it, because people who need to be talking about it are dropping like flies, and it is alarming and it's scary. I think that's the best word I can think of to describe it. It is scary to watch your peers and your friends and your heroes die because of the same stressors that are impacting your life, or the same stressors that are impacting your partner's life, the same stressors that are impacting, like, your friend, who the hell ever. Whoever's life is being impacted by either bullying, which doesn't stop after high school. It's a lie to say it does, because it continues well on into young adulthood and late adulthood. It doesn't stop. It doesn't just get better. You don't turn 18, graduate high school, start college, and like, I don't know, receive an envelope that like plays somewhere over the rainbow and glitter falls out. That shit doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. You don't just wake up one day and you're a boy. That shit doesn't happen. There's bumps and bruises along the way that we need to be discussing about. And these bumps and bruises, a lot of them are incurred as a result of social prejudices. They aren't necessarily personal jabs, although they can be. Sometimes they are harassment after you get off the bus, or harassment on your way into work, harassment when you're hanging out with your partner, being misgendered publicly and having to correct things. All of that does occur, but a lot of it is a lot of systematic stuff. It's a lot of technicalities. It's a lot of denial based on what papers say, or what papers don't say, or what things you have done, or what plans you have to, like, basically what you're doing with your body is somehow the government's business, when our cis counterparts in the world, it is none of their business. They can not necessarily do whatever they want with their bodies, because, you know, the government loves to do things with women's bodies, but they have a bit more leeway, and I'm really pleased to see that people are acknowledging this. People are acknowledging that even within the community, it is not the easiest thing to do, and it is not the most all-time successful thing to do. Or, that didn't make any sense, all-time successful, but it isn't always as beneficial as it seems. There's a means to an end, and there's a lot of personal sacrifice and a lot of loss. It's like a war. Being young and radically queer right now is like a war. If the police don't get you, you might get yourself. And I think in talking about this, we can make and raise more awareness of what's going on within the community. We can be there for each other. If you see the same person out looking down several times, approach them, whether you know them or not. Who knows what you just initiating that conversation and giving them either a place to vent or shoulder to cry on can do. So I think this idea and this more of an interactive social movement is what we really need, because it's things like this within smaller communities, within the cyber world, or within terms of snail mail, or just zines, things exactly of this nature. Hearing other people's stories, hearing other people supporting things are what have kept me here, and what are going to keep me here, and other people like me here. So yes, let's continue to talk about it. This is running super long, so we're going to cut it out now.